So I guess we can start. We will start with the questions, so the people who will join us a bit later in 2 minutes, they won't skip a lot. So we will start with this question. We will dive deeper a bit into the facts. How do you think in which country IT sector is most competitive among other European countries? Most competitive, the factors that were analyzed were talent, economic impact, and yeah. I'm sorry. The question was before from if you had experience in IT and if you didn't. So if you had experience in IT, you can write a plus, and if you didn't, you can write the minus. And well, back to our slide. So the most competitive was meant in the statistics. It meant that they had the economic impact, business environment, and talent. So these factors were analyzed. And how do you think which country has the most competitive IT sector? You can write 1 if you think this is Romania. You can write 2 if this is Poland, 3 if Ukraine, and 4 if Estonia. Most competitive. So we have a lot of 3s. 3. Maybe any other point. Maybe any other number. Maybe any other opinion. Okay. Well, basically, this is Estonia. Why Estonia? Because, again, it was analyzed talent, IT infrastructure, I forgot this point, economic impact, and business environment. And as you see, the Poland is quite in a good rank, I guess. It's the 3rd place, but while the Estonia is the 1st one, and the source is Future of IT report. You can check it online. It's in a free. It has a free access, so you can check it anytime. It has cool points and the cool statistics, and it is described very well. And about the words, well, mostly of you have already had experience in IT, but well, talent is not a gift, it's not a present, it's the people who are working in some industry, so this is a talent. Then there is IT infrastructure, which is quite basically understandable. Then there is economic impact and business environment. So there is environment, natural environment, but there also can be business environment. Okay, great. And we will move forward to our next question. So next question would be, how do you think, what percentage of gross domestic product does the Polish IT sector account for? GDP of Poland, I mean, Poland's GDP. How do you think? 1 is if you think that they have less than 5%, 2 then more than 5%, 3 more than 9%, and 4 less than 1. If you have no idea, you can try to guess, because, well, in Ukraine, this is near 5%, if I'm not mistaken. So how do you think, what is the situation in Poland? So we have a lot of 2s. Maybe somebody else wants to share the number. So we have 1, 2, 3 2s and 3 and 2 3s. So basically, more than 9%. It was in the statistics around 8 and 9, but it was like 2022 or 2023, and basically now the number is a bit higher. That's why I wrote more than 9%. And while GDP is gross domestic product, I think everybody knows what that means. The new cool word is to be account for. A lot of people use to be responsible for something, but we can also use a bit let's say a bit more formal, and a bit more difficult word, which is account for. We will use it in the next slides, so you can write it down or you can remember it as as it is in the way that is comfortable for you. And well, IT sector can also be a domain, so you can use various words for that. Great. So we will move to our agenda, and today we will speak about jobs in the IT sector. So first we will talk about technical and non-technical positions. Then we will see what is the difference between front end and back ends and the difference in the vocabulary. Also, we will separately explain different positions and the most common words. And we will talk a bit about meetings in IT, the most common ones, because everybody has their own experience. So we will talk about the common ones. And let's move to the technical and non-technical separation. So the technical ones include software developer or engineer, database administrator, cybersecurity specialist, DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, and there is also full stack engineer. So a lot of more. And non-technical is basically the ones that don't write the code, but they are very close to working with people who do. So these are mostly project managers, product managers, business analysts, UX and UI designer, technical support specialist, IT recruiter, and there can also be the marketing team. So it can be marketing specialist, technical writer, PR specialist. So a lot of different people from different departments that work in the IT company. And well, about the vocab, so there is a recruiter, which means recruiter, cybersecurity, which you already know, software, програмне забезпечення, developer, це є розробник, a person who writes a code. Then there is a specialist. It can be marketing specialist. It can be also cybersecurity specialist. So also just, add this word anywhere if you are not sure about the position or anything else. A software developer is a developer who creates software applications or something else. And there is also business analyst, so business analytic. Let's dive a bit deep into the positions. So there is a software developer, and he mostly focuses on writing the code and creating software applications. What we can do also with software applications is build. So this is the alternative word. The responsibilities is mostly developing, testing, and maintaining software program according to specifications. Maintaining means like keeping them already how they were created, keeping the quality, зберігати quality, якість. So it's like maintaining, a cool word, and we will use it in the future. Well, mostly they are involved in building specific features or components of an application. So the features and components, they are also very widely used in the IT sector, not only by developers, but also, for instance, for technical writers. So if you want to become a technical writer, just, several words are quite important too. Well, the vocab, writing code, creating software applications or building software applications, developing, testing, and maintaining these programs according to some specifications, features, as mentioned, funkcji, and components, komponente. The software engineer, it's a bit broader focus on development, so it involves also designing and building software system, not only creating again, but building and also adding system architecture, different design patterns, scalability. Scalability means when we want to make a product bigger, but also keep the same quality, keep the how to say, if the quality is well, you want to keep it and you want to make it bigger. So actually making it масштабувати, грубо кажучи, roughly saying, грубо кажучи, and also integration of different components. So you don't only build components, but you also add them to already created system. And overall ensuring that there is a better structure and a robustness of software. A robustness, it means надійність. And about the skills це навички. So in addition to coding, it also includes system design, problem solving, вирішування проблем at a higher level, на трошки вищому рівні, тобто коли в нас є вища зобов'язаність, a bigger responsibilities, and often a knowledge of hardware and software integration. So they are typically involved in the full life cycle of software creation. A full life cycle, it means planning, design, development, deployment, and maintenance. We will talk a bit about it a bit later. About the vocab, so designing means проєктування, then software systems, програмні системи, what we can do is then we can create and build them, then again our scalability, наше масштабування, integration of components, інтеграція компонентів, robustness, надійність, problem solving, вирішення проблем, full life cycle of software creation, повний життєвий цикл, створення продукту, which means planning, планування, designing, and so on. And we also have deployment, which means when the process, when the product goes further than just testing and analyzing it, so it goes further. Тобто воно йде переходить з етапу розробки на етап використання. Okay, let's do the small exercise. So what do we have? We have different words and we have their description or definition, better to say. So for instance, we have word scalability. Do you remember what it can be? You can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you think is scalability? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Great, so well done, this is 7. Okay, then we have full life cycle of software creation. Great, well done. Then we have integration of components. It's a bit more difficult, but great. Yes, it's combining parts. So integrate, інтегрувати, combine. Good. Let's move on. Writing code. Maybe someone else? Okay, so basically creating the software is very close to, but it's a bit different, and you will see why. But writing the code, yeah, mostly it's like making the code for a program, a bit easier, a bit more clear, not clear, but understandable way of saying, and more easier, much easier. Okay, let's move to developing. So what do you think is developing? Yeah, you are right. So that's why developing is creating software. It means developing the code, developing it into a system. That's why it means this. Great. Maintaining software programs according to specifications. Maintaining. This one, maintaining. Maintain something. Great. So there are a lot of correct answers. So it is indeed the first one, keeping software running as required. Тобто надавати цій системі, грубо кажучи, працювати так, як має бути. Тобто, незважаючи на те, що зберігати цю quality, яка в нас була до того. Maintaining. Good. Features. Great. So these are indeed the functions of a software, not the components, the functions. And we have the last one, deployment. Deployment. It's a part of full life cycle. A very important one, deployment. To deploy a product, to deploy a software, deployment. So yeah, you're right. It's putting software into use, putting it already developing it in the way so the users can already use it. Yeah. And we will move to the front end and back end side. So as you see, front end and back end. Front end in IT, it means when the user can see and interact with something. For instance, the buttons, the screens, so it means the web pages, user interfaces, and design elements. So the user, when you see the page, you can click on it, you can see the visual side. So the appearance is very important. Who can work in front end, in the part that user can see? It can be front-end developer when you are developing this site. It can be UI and UX designer, and it can be also the web designers. What is the main goal? Is to create a valuable user experience. Досвід користувача. It means that user clicks on the button and the interaction is great. You can click it quickly, you can see the result quickly. So basically the great user experience. Then the visual design, that it's not chaotically, the colors are great, the shifts are great. So basically the visual design and the overall look and feel of the application, that the user see the website, he or she sees the screen, and she likes what he or she sees. About the words, user, це користувач, it can be user interaction. For instance, UI is user interaction. So взаємодія. User experience – це досвід користувача. Appearance of the website, visual, it can be visually or it can be also just like visual. For instance, I need to create a visual, мені потрібно створити якийсь візуал для того чи іншого завдання. Then there is a layout, a maquette, so basically it can be used in several other things. Navigation, when you see that there is where you can go, this is about, this is career and something else, the navigation, the performance, the accessibility, how well you can access some buttons, how well you can access the information from the website. Then there is this typography, the how big should be the text or how small should be the text and something else. Then there is a color scheme, usability, how great you can use this various buttons, animation, and feedback. So it can be user feedback, which is quite crucial, right? When you create something, you ask your users to check your website and to provide you with the feedback. And the back end, so the front end is what the user can see and interact with, for instance, buttons, and back end is something that user can't see. So for instance, it can be data processing, storage, and communication between the front end and the server itself. So the people who work with back end side, these are developers, database administrators, and DevOps engineers who are involved in QA and also in developing. So basically, people who work with the back side of programming, not of the front one. That's why they focus on the data management, server-side logic, security, and performance also. About the vocabs, server, database, authentication, authorization, framework. There are different frameworks, right? The requests, response, latency. We will talk about it a bit later. Bandwidth, cloud, backup, резервна копія, replication, failover, автоматичний перехід, monitoring, and metrics. So the metrics where you can evaluate how well you have done this or that. Good. That was quite a lot, but we will see how well you have understood that. So there is an exercise and there is a sentence, the fact. So you can write true or false. For instance, the first one, front-end developers primarily work on what users see and interact with on their screens. Is it true or false? Well done. So primarily it's like головне, тобто їхня головна задача work on. Good. UI stands for user interaction. True or false? Good, well done. A database is used to storage and manage data. Great. As you see, you can what you can do with data, you can store it and you can manage it. Good. The first one, engineers are responsible for designing system architecture. Well done, it's true. Again, what we can say instead of responsible? What word we can say instead of responsible? Are, pa, pa, pam, for. Well done. Great. Then we have developers do not need to test their code. True or false? Great, well done. And backend developers handle the server-side logic and databases. Handle, it means they work with something. So it is their responsibility. They are account for the server side. Handle. It's quite an cool word too. Is it true or false? Backend. Focus on appearance or focus on database? Backend. Well done, it is true. Great. We will end. The next one is explanation of, again, we have a words and we have their definition, and we will work the same way. So I will read out loud the word, and you can say the definition. For instance, we have user interface. What do you think it is? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. What it can be? Maybe somebody else? Yeah, so this is 6, the visual part of a software application that users interact with. Then we have a bit easier. This is user experience. Well done. So the overall experience and satisfaction a user has when using a software application. Great. We can do this one. We should know this scalability, the word we already had. So the 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Scalability. Scalability means good. Well done. Well done. So this is, yeah, the capability of a system to handle. Again, we have this handle, growing amounts of work or expand its capacity. Do you know any alternative or any synonym to capability? What means capability? What other word we can use? Capability. Capability. What can be the another word? You can write it in the comments, your suggestion. Opportunity, but with double P. Opportunity, well done. Yeah, once more, maybe one more. Does somebody know? Opportunity and something else, maybe? Okay, it can be also possibility too, so the capability. Good, well done. Let's do also optimization. Performance optimization. What is that? What can be performance optimization? So this is already done. This is done. And this is done. What can be performance optimization? Maybe somebody else, maybe 7. Mm-hmm. Seven is the word that I said that we will look it through a bit later. So this is the word latency, затримка, the time delay between sending a request. When you request an action, you press a button, for instance, you request an action, but you receive a response with delay. So it's, not moving not moving fast. So this is a latency, right? And that's why performance optimization is a technique that we use to improve the speed and efficiency of web applications. So we use it to make the user experience better, uh, roughly saying. Good. We can also see, let's try with this one, accessibility. What can be accessibility to? 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, accessibility is actually designing applications so they are usable by people, by different people. That's better to say like this, not with disabilities, by different people. Good. And the responsive design is the design approach that ensures web pages look good on all devices. So it looks like this. Great. Well done, everyone. Well done. So we will move to other jobs in IT, and the next one would be the project manager. So what the project manager does, he or she oversees or runs IT projects from inception to completion, from the start to finish, right? So they ensure that they are delivered on time, within scope, and within budget. That's why to attain this goal, to reach this goal, they coordinate with different teams. It can be developers, it can be designers, right? And they also communicate with stakeholders, with people who are interested in these projects or who can have the rights for these projects, right? So, and for that, they also manage resources. So they analyze, they prioritize, and they manage resources. They manage with different frameworks. The words that are quite important is the timeline, chronologia, milestones, the things that are very important in changes, the budget, the scope. So you need to deliver a project within scope, risk management, when you should analyze the potential risks that can happen, and stakeholders, which we already discussed, and deliverables. Better to say, it's like the alternative to results, right? So you have already delivered something. So these are the deliverables. And how do you think? What is the difference between project and product manager? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Focuses on the vision and handles budgets, completes projects, oversees product strategy, work with marketing, works with sales, manages customer support, manages finances. How do you think, what is the difference? So 2 or 3? How do you think? Just only one. Good. Maybe somebody else? Let's see. Well, good. So most of you were right. The majority was right. The project manager completes projects. and a product manager oversees a product strategy. So this is a bit how to say, broader responsibility. That's why we'll talk about the product managers. So basically, they are responsible for the strategy, roadmap, feature definition of a product or product line. So that's why they work closely with different teams, engineering, marketing, sales teams, so they could ensure that the product meets market needs and business objectives. Objectives, it's the synonym to goals. So goal is the objective. I will write it in the comments so you won't lose. Right. So what about roadmap? So roadmap is basically, I hope that you can see it. One moment, I will check if you, yeah, you can. So basically, this is how it looks. There are different types of roadmaps, but basically it's a plan that outlines different goals, different timelines. So you can see when it should be done, you can see what the task should be done, and basically it helps to understand the bigger picture of the processes. There can be various roadmaps. It can be technical, it can be marketing roadmaps. So it depends on the team, but there also can be one general one, so you can see what teams are doing. So for instance, there could be marketing, there could be developing, there could be designing and something else. So you can see what can be done. There are different, as you see, types. Again, so there is a backlog, in design, in progress, completed. Те, що лежить в беклозі, ми проговоримо, що це таке пізніше, те, що вже в розробці, в дизайні, в прогресі і completed. For instance, a lot of teams use Jira for that. There are Jira checklists, and well, you can use the roadmaps here. Great. So we will move back to our product manager, and so the words that can help you is the roadmap already, as we understood. It's like, well, I translated it this way, but we know all that this is like the word that we don't translate, right? This is some technical word, so roadmap. MVP, minimum viable product, minimально жизнездатный product, a product that we create for testing things. So when we are already sure in the idea, in the planning, in the and we want it to test, we want to see if the code works, if the design works, we use this minimum viable product. Then there are user stories, історії користувачів. Again, product lifecycle that we already know. There are different steps: planning, designing, and deployment that we already learned. There is market research, when you research what are the market needs. Again, you have this competitor analysis, so will meet the market fit. So it will have the market fit, it will meet the user needs. That's why you do market research and competitor analysis. Then there is this key performance indicators that we already know, right? So when you have a task and you want to know what the result you want to achieve, so you set some key performance indicators. Then there is a product backlog, when you put some things in the backlog and you know that you should do them in the near future, but not at the moment. So at the moment you have several tasks, but you have backlog, so you know that, all right, okay, this should be done a bit later, so backlog. Then we have sprint. I'm sure that you already know that. And there is go-to-market strategy. So basically there is a strategy that you use for product to, again, meet the market needs. This can be different positions on social media, different strategies in communication, different target things. So again, anything that you can use for meeting the market needs. Right. If we talk about, we have exercises then, but if about the print, it's a time-boxed iteration during which a specific set of tasks or goals should be completed. For instance, you have created the tasks, and well, it should be created in this or that period of time. Good. Let's see, and let's try with the exercises. So we have a situation, and what would you use in this situation? A, B, C, or D? For instance, the first one is when you need to plan the overall vision and phases of a product. What would you use? Overall vision and phases. A, you have the idea, the client comes to you basically, or you have your own product, and you need to see what you should do with it, what teams you should use. It can be, again, in IT, in different other spheres. Good, well done. It's A. It is A. Because product life cycle, it's again, it's these different steps from the start to beginning, but it's a bit more like overall vision. So you want to see the tasks. Good. When you need to, the next one, when you need to define the smallest version of a product that can be released, what is that? Great. Well done. Well done. This is A. When you need to gather detailed user requirements for development. What user needs. You need to understand what user needs. What would you do? What would you gather? Yeah, well done. These are user stories. And when you need to assess potential threats to a project, threats means something that can happen, and the results can be really very bad. Threats. Good, 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 good. Maybe somebody else. So yeah, this is a risk management. Risk management. What I wanted to say. Oh, the threats are загрозы, right? Risks, threats. Good, well done. Well done, well done. And we have also this one. So when you need to plan the marketing and sales launch of a product, right? So when you want already to launch it, запустити, launch it, what would you do? When you have a product, you tested it, and now you need to hit the market. Yeah, so this is a go-to-market strategy. Why not D? Because sprint is a task that was created in a certain timeline. For instance, you have 1 month to create this. So this is a sprint. You create this sprint. You create this, so like you document what you need to do in which timeline. Yeah, and the next one, when you need to measure the success of your product. Maybe somebody else? Yeah, well done. So this is C. Good. Let's go on, and we have one more job description, short job description. So such designers focus on creative, intuitive, and engaging user interfaces. For that, they conduct проводите, or you can also say run user research. They create wireframes. It means blueprint for the design and structure. Blueprint, it means that you have a certain like documented instructia for the design and instructions. Then there are also prototypes that you can test and ensure впевнитись that the final product is user friendly. This word is quite cool, user friendly. So it means that the user experience would be on a high level, user friendly design. So the words wireframes, prototypes, user research. You need to make a research, conduct a research to see what your user needs, what your user uses. So again, it's a bit more also about the competitor, I guess. Then there is usability testing, тестування на зручність. Usability, it's a nice word. It's like to test how good you can use this or that, usability. Then we have user flows, путі користувачів, mockups, макети, accessibility, доступність, and responsive design, адаптивний дизайн. Good. And how do you think if technical issues arise within the team? Who should be responsible for addressing them? And we have two cool words. So there is an issue, which means a problem, and we have address problem or issue. It's like знову ж таки вирішувати їх. And again, what we can use instead of be responsible for, what word we can use instead of, oh, I see already the answers, but maybe you can also remember the word that we learned today. Be responsible for, and the synonym. Well done. Account for. Yeah. So basically, so if the technical issues arise, who should be responsible for that? Who should who should take accounts for it? Right. So this is technical support specialist. And he provides assistance. It can be also help, so assistance, help, and troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is виявлення та усунення несправностей чи проблем. Troubleshooting is also a cool word that we can use for IT-related issues. So again, IT-related issues – це проблеми, IT-related – те, що стосується саме от information technologies. What they do, they resolve hardware and software problems, they assist users with technical queries, and they ensure впевнюються that there is a smooth operation of IT systems. Smooth – гладка, тобто вона йде нормально. About the words, troubleshooting, again, it's виявлення та усунення проблем, несправностей, troubleshooting. It's like when you shoot in the trouble, right? Then there is a help desk, служба підтримки, ticketing system, система заявок, або так і називають тікетів. When you create a request, you create a ticket. Then there is a remote support, network issues, customer support, and technical documentation. So basically this is it, and let's try to do some exercises. What we need to do, we need to translate this. So for instance, служба підтримки, and you can write in English in comments what is it in English. Maybe somebody else? Можливо, ще якесь слово вам спаде на думку? Mhm. So it can be help desk or support service. Right, well done. Then we have the next word, maquette. What can it be in English? Maybe somebody else? Yeah, well done. You found your mistake. Yeah, right. So these are basically mockups. Then we have the dostupность, how well the user can access the buttons, how well he or she can interact with. Well done. Accessibility. Well done. Then we have потік користувачів. Yeah, well done. User flow. Виявлення та усунення несправностей або проблем. Одним словом. Оце наше цікаве слово. Yeah, well done. Be careful. So this is the correct format or version. This is the correct word. Be careful with shooting parts. So we have double O, right? OO. Good. And the last one, система заявок або система, коли ми створюємо тікети. Well done. So this is the ticketing system. Well done. And now we have IT recruiter, and there are several important words that are basically important again, both for technical and non-technical jobs. So there is an interview scheduling. So when you can schedule the interview, планування interview, then there is technical skills assessment. Assessment – це оцінка, оцінювати просто буде assess, без meant. Assess skills. Можуть бути technical, можуть бути soft skills, тобто ті скіли, які не прив'язані до наших технічних навичок, technical skills. Then there is a recruitment process. It's quite important to ask about recruitment process, right? Because each company has different requirements and has different system. So recruitment process is very important. Then there is employer branding. Це є бренд роботодавця, because when you work as an IT recruiter, you basically represent the company. So you need to understand the core values and the core the core employee branding of your company, so you could represent it well in the job description, during the interview, and so on. For instance, if your company is open to feedback, you also need to show that during the interview. So basically, the person can see that feedback is quite important, and you need to know how to get it and how to also give it. Good. Then we have job description, which is the easy peasy lemon squeezy. Then we have onboarding process. Onboarding, when a person onboards in some kind of a company, right? She or he already got an offer, and they onboard. And they are onboarding. Then there is a reference check. Somebody can ask you for the reference check when you have certain contents in your CV, and they need just to check. They can ask for the emails or phones, but mostly it's Gmails, right? Then we have offer letter, when you get a letter that you successfully were hired on this or that position. Then we have pair programming, programming in pairs, when you write a code or you work on something in pairs. It means you and another person. It can be, for instance, online or offline. It doesn't matter, but you basically work on the same task with somebody else in pairs. Then there is a candidate experience. We had user experience, and now we have candidate experience, because each candidate matters. That's why each recruiter needs to create a positive candidate experience and to work on the feedback, right? To work on the requests, requirements, and so on. And we have employee referral program, but we will talk about it a bit later. So let's see. We have exercise on association. So there is IT recruiter, there is product manager, UI and UX designer, and developers. And we have different words. What we need to do, we need to match them. So basically, if you know that this word is for instance, product manager, or for developer, you just say it. For instance, we can first find words for IT recruiter. So which words do you associate with IT recruiter? So we have, again, the associations exercise, and which words can be used for IT recruiter. Maybe you have already found several ones. What can be used by or for IT recruiter? Which word? Maybe you have found already one? Well done. Onboarding, candidate experience, well done. Tech skills, yeah, well done. Assessment, you can assess, evaluate, also the same word. Well done. What do we have for product manager? Stakeholders. What else? What can be used by product manager? Yeah, it can be sprint. Prototypes, not that much. Timeline, yes. Prototypes are used by different people. Timeline, great. Timeline, stakeholders. What else can be used? Backlog, well done. Yeah, backlog there is. Yeah, so stakeholders, timeline, and backlog. Well done. Then the next one is UI and UX designer. What can be used by these positions? Prototypes, yep. Well done. Usability testing. Usability testing, yeah, that's right. User experience, yeah. Yeah, yeah, this is it. And the last one is are developers. So what are used by developers? Which words? Backlog, yeah. Backlog is fine too. It can work also for developers. What else? What works only for developers? What developers only use? Yeah, technical skills, yeah, but not the assessment, right? They don't assess. They possess. When they might, not assess. Customer support we can use for UI and UX designer, and we also can use by developers because they need to create they can have the customer support, work on customer support. Let's say it like this. What else? There is one more. Uh, Developers don't really communicate with the stakeholders. I would say that this is the focus of product managers, right? The same with the user experience. I would say that UI and UX designer has more focus on user experience. What else? There just is one word missing. Onboarding is more for IT recruiter, but yeah, each person in IT also needs an onboarding, but the focus is more for of IT recruiter. Just one word that so yeah, basically we can add sprint here because well, during the work itself, the sprint is quite valuable too. Great, well done. We will need. We'll move forward to our last part, which is meetings. And there are a lot of meetings, but I chose the most common ones. Maybe you would like to add something else. Please write in the comments maybe which meetings are missing but are very common in your workplace. So I chose the stand-up meeting, or they are also called daily stand-up. It's a meeting where very briefly and very shortly team members share their updates on their programs or on what they are working, right? So they are simply sharing the updates, the feedback maybe sometimes. So basically just to understand who and what does. Then there is retrospective, a meeting to reflect. So when you have already done some task, it can be not every day, not each week, but it can be like once in a month. You share your feedback, you share your possible improvements, or vice versa. Sometimes there are also places for milestones to share. So just to reflect on something that has already been done and to share the feedback. Then we have backlog refinement. It's a meeting where you review and prioritize the product backlog. So you have already a lot of items in this backlog, and you need to understand what you should do today, what you should do tomorrow, like what you should do in a long-term or a short-term time. Then we have one-on-one meeting. Basically, it's just to discuss, to share the feedback more personal, more individually, to discuss possible performance, career development, or personal feedback. So a lot of different, basically, personal things to discuss, maybe with the manager or with the at a team member, right? And the last one, I added brainstorm session. So when a lot of team members gather and discuss one item and discuss possible solutions or possible risks, threats, right? So they try to generate more unique and more useful ideas. So just everybody could have a chance to speak up and to share the possible ideas. Let's try to do just small exercises. So, for instance, if you need to quickly update your team on what was done, what will be done, and any blockers, which type of meeting should you have? One, two, three. Oh, A, B, C, or D. If you need to quickly, very quickly, it doesn't need to be long. Just about the updates, about the some news. So just not really a feedback, but again, it should not be daily, just stand, just brief meeting. Yeah, I already said it out loud, so sorry for that. So this is stand-up meeting. Why not retrospective? Because this is retrospective we use when we need to reflect on something, when we need to share the feedback on some already completed tasks. Let's say like that. And the next one, if your team needs to discuss what went well, what didn't, and how processes can be improved, which meeting would you have? Yeah, well done. So this is the retrospect, the A. Well done. And the next one. If you need to discuss performance, career development, and personal feedback with an manager, for instance, which type of meeting would be appropriate in this case? Great. Well done. So this is one-on-one. And the last one, if you need to generate and discuss new ideas with your team, which type of meeting should you organize? Great. Yeah, this is the brainstorm session. And the people who answered earlier that they had experience in working in IT, if please write a plus if these are the most common meetings that you have, and write a minus if you would add something else to the meetings part, for instance. Is it like enough? Do you have the same, or you have some more? Weekly. Mm-hmm. You have a weekly maybe stand up, right? Understood. Well done. Maybe some other types of meetings, but if everything was covered in the meeting part, just out of curiosity, maybe you have something else. You can write a plus or a minus just to understand. Kick meeting. I basically, frankly saying, I never heard about kick meeting, but Yeah, I will Google it. Maybe someone else had something. Kick meetings. Ah, kickoff. Okay. Mm-hmm. Kickoff meetings. Mm-hmm. Meetings on the start. It can be like planning session or something else, something like that. Yeah. Okay, then great. Thank you everyone for your attention and for being so active. I do hope that you had learned some new words for yourself, or you have repeated the ones that you have already known. If you have any questions, you can always contact me, or you can write in the comments. But overall, you would have the home task as well, which will cover the same words. So you would practice a bit more. But overall, thank you very much, and I do hope that you have a great evening. And till the next webinar, I guess. Thank you very much again. Have a nice evening. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Bye bye.